Howdy folks, law-abiding Minnesotan here from North Central Minnesota Press, coming at you from my kitchen/office here near Brainerd, Minnesota and North Central Minnesota. I just wanted to give you guys a recap on what's going on with my case here. Back on April 23rd, 2022, I was issued a citation for allegedly initiating a communications device, a wireless communications device. At 6:48 p.m. on April 23rd, 2022. That is what the citation says. I want you to pay particular attention to the date of the offense, which says 4/23/2022, and the offense location, which says Washington Street and North 4th Street. So that's allegedly where the offense occurred. Okay. I don't know how to edit, so I'm going to turn the camera away to keep my identifying information out of here. So I received this citation back on April 23rd. I called Sgt Pallansch the next day on the 24th. He said, yes, the evidence does sound circumstantial, but they refused to rescind the citation, and he referred me to the city attorney. Okay, so after fighting with the city attorney for 5 or 6 weeks, I got a notice from Cody Schmidt, who is the assistant city attorney. The state of Minnesota hereby dismisses the charges in the above named case for the following reasons: prosecutorial discretion, dated June 1st. This did not get dropped until June 6th. I spoke with this assistant city attorney on June 6th. He did not drop this case until June 6th. He backdated the dismissal with the court to June 1st. Okay, so charge dismissed. And most of you guys would be thinking, all right, go ahead on your merry way. But this wasn't sitting right with me because the officer issued a citation without probable cause, okay? I could have been picking up a sandwich for all he knew. I admitted that it was a cell phone, but that the only reason I touched it was to activate a hands-free navigation system, which is allowed by the Minnesota statute. So I called Lt Mike Kulzer, on June 6th, the same day that I was notified that this case got dismissed, and I explained to him my side of the story, that I was traveling west on Washington Street, saw the officer at 4th and Washington. He pulled me over a mile down the road on the 800 block of West Washington, and without probable cause, and issued a citation. So now if he thought I was on my cell phone, no big deal. He pulls me over, okay, I'm not upset yet. But then once he got to my automobile and he saw the navigation system running, spitting out directions at me verbally, and I told him that the only reason I touched that phone was to activate the hands-free navigation system, which is allowed by the Minnesota statute. I mean, he should have let me be on my way. But instead, he issued a citation for the cell phone ticket. All right. I explained to both the sergeant and the city attorney my side of the story, as well as Lt Mike Kulzer, who called me back a half an hour later on June 6th. And that is the first I heard that the officer's story was different than mine. It was June 6, 2022. Well, my citation was issued back on April 23rd. So it was a good month and a half before I even heard that the officer's story was different than what I remember. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera away because again, I suck at editing, and we'll go here to bear with me, guys. I want to bring you guys to the police report next. So you saw that the citation said April 23rd, 2022, and the offense location said 4th and Washington. Well, if you go to the police report that is modified on 4/25, 2 days after the citation was issued, and the date was modified. It says on 4/24 the incident occurred, which it didn't. It was on 4/23. Officer Johnson was facing southbound in a parking lot in the 900 block of Washington Street. No, he wasn't. He was facing northbound on the corner of 4th and Washington. Okay, so something funny is going on here. I FOIA requested the dash cam and the body cam to try to figure out what that was. Let me turn the camera away. We're gonna go to the dash cam. Let me pull up the dash cam. Okay, here's the dash cam. If the offense location was 4th and Washington, and the officer was facing northbound at the stoplight of 4th and Washington, here the officer is facing southbound on the 900 block of Washington. That's not where the officer was. And all of a sudden, let's take a look here. Now the next thing I want you guys to take a look at is the audio. Listen for the audio. I mean, we're almost a minute in here, no audio. Oh, there I allegedly drove by. A minute in, over a minute in, no audio, no audio, no audio, no audio. A minute 15, no audio. Oh, there's blinking lights. There's blinking lights at the exact cadence of emergency lights of a police vehicle. You think it took me 3 blocks to pull over and half the force wasn't on me? No way, dude. I'm sitting here. This video was shot the next day for sure, and it was converged with the original video. All of a sudden the radio kicks in at a minute 40. The first radio communication is at Washington, North 4th Street, the officer says. I'm going to stop it right here. First of all, I'm going to explain to you guys what really happened. The officer was parked right here where this automobile was. I went through this green light, and that officer tore around this corner to the west and pulled me over way down here over a mile down the road on West Washington, 800 block of West Washington, over a mile from where this video shows I was pulled over. Okay, if you remember from the citation says the offense happened at 4th and Washington, which is right here. So if the offense happened right here, and I was traveling west at 30 to 35 miles an hour, how could he have possibly pulled me over right here? If he was sitting right here, and the offense happened here, and I was heading west at 30 to 35 miles an hour, there's no way he could have pulled me over here if I was heading this way and he was stopped for a red light right here. Okay? Now the radio communication, listen. I'm gonna back it up so we can listen to the radio communication again. Let's listen specifically for the radio communication. That's what really got my attention, is the radio communication. A minute in, no radio. Well, you think you'd call in your pursuit. Hey, I am beginning pursuit at the 900 block of Washington. Nope, no radio communication. First radio communication you can hear is after he called in my license plate, and it came back clear. At. Look at them lights in my rear view. Or look at them lights in my tail lights. Those are, 140. The radio cuts on. Expires 2022, status valid. 725 Washington, North 4th Street, 10-4. That's the only radio communication. Status valid, 725 North 4th in Washington. That officer was sitting right here at this red light, and he busted a left and pulled me over a mile down the road down here on West Washington. I was not pulled over right here. I was pulled over a mile down the road. He was sitting right here at this intersection. Somehow, I don't know how, I believe they shot this dash cam video the next day and pasted my automobile into it to show that I was pulled over here at 4th in Washington when I was actually pulled over a mile down the road, I believe is what happened. But you heard from the radio communication, the only thing that could be heard was status valid and we're at 4th in Washington. That's it on the radio.
Hello, how are we doing? Good, how are you all? Good. Hey, you know the reason why I stopped today? I do not know, honestly. Looking down at your phone, man. Looking down at my phone? Yep, I drove right past me, you're looking down right at it. Good. And looks like it's right there, right next to you, looking that direction. Address is 10794 Lane, Harvard Mill Party. Person is unable to form persons correctly. What? No, it was a one. I was parked over at Batteries and Plus, and I saw you driving by the whole.
I was parked over at Batteries and Plus, and I saw you driving by the whole time. How could you see me driving by the whole time over at Batteries and Plus? Let's take another look. Since I came from behind a wall over here, pretty tough for you to see me driving by the whole time. This is a building right over here to the left, Batteries Plus. Right at the 900 block in Washington right here. Let's watch this again. There we go, driving by allegedly. There's the lights flashing in my taillights. Minute 20, 25, 30, no audio. Now listen for the audio, because I'm going to play the audio next. Expires 2022, status valid. North 725 at Washington and North 4th Street, 10-4. First of all, the officer was stopped here at a stoplight facing north on 4th and Washington, and he pulled me over a mile down the road down here on West Washington, 800 block of West Washington, over a mile west of where the video shows that we are here. Okay, so you heard that radio communication. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the phone away, and I am going to pull up the audio file of the police radio communication that I FOIA requested from the Crow Wing County Sheriff, Lieutenant Jessica Turner. Send me this audio file of the police radio communication. Let's listen. Wait a minute, that last little bit of radio communication can't be heard. Let's listen to this again. It doesn't say status valid. The dispatcher doesn't come back and say status valid. Let's take a listen again. Okay, right about here is where the police radio cuts on in the dash cam.
1849. Washington and North 4th Street. 10-1. 1854.
Okay, you guys heard that police radio communication. Let's go back to the dash cam. Let's listen to it one more time. Listen. Okay, there's the police radio communication in the dash cam. Now let's go back one more time to the audio file that I received from Lieutenant Turner at the Crow Wing County Sheriff.
Washington and North 4th Street. 10-1. 1854.
That last communication between the officer and the dispatcher can't be heard in the dash cam. Let's play it one more time. Listen.
Edward, Zebra, Tom,
that is all I got from Lieutenant Turner with the Crow Wing County Sheriff as far as audio. Okay, first of all, there is no mention of where the pursuit allegedly started on the 900 block of Washington. I mean, let's listen to it one more time and then I'll flip back over to the dash cam so you guys can compare it.
Edward Zebra Tom 001 Boston North 6th Street.
1849.
725 Washington and North 4th Street.
Tampered.
725
1854.
That's all the audio right there. That's all the audio I got from the Sheriff's Department. Let's go back over to the dash cam. You guys can go ahead and compare it. Let me back this dash cam up a little bit. And the audio from the dash cam.
Expires 2022. Status valid.
Washington and North 4th Street.
Tampered.
Hello, how we doing? Good, how are you? Good. Hey, any reason why I stopped today?
Okay, this officer did not pull me over here on 4th and Washington. He pulled me over a mile up the road here on the 800 block of West Washington. He was sitting here at a red light waiting to turn left. And he waited for his red light. My light had just turned green. I went through this intersection and this officer came from this intersection right here at 4th and Washington and pulled me over a mile down the road here at on the 800 block of West Washington in front of Burger King, way down the road up here. Okay, so you guys heard the difference between the audio file that I got from Lieutenant Turner at the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office and the audio that can be heard in the dash cam. There is definitely a difference between the two audios that can be heard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera away. I filed an officer complaint back on, I believe it was July 5th. I filed the officer complaint against Bryce Johnson here. The fact that he pulled me over for and issued a citation with no probable cause it's a constitutional violation, but I wasn't that upset. I really wasn't that upset. Okay. Even if the guy saw me coming through here, the 4th and Washington, and he thought I was on my phone, even if he thought that, okay, and he pulled me over a mile down the road here, and he approached my automobile and saw my phone sitting here on my passenger seat with the navigation system running, which is allowed by state law, he should have just went on his way, you know, but he went ahead and issued the citation anyway. That's what irritated me. And that didn't even irritate me the most. What irritated me the most is when I saw this falsified police report and this edited dash and body cam. That's when I really started to get a little squirmy. And so I filed the officer complaint on 7/5 after I found out the police report was falsified and the dash and body cams were edited. It came back in 2 days unsustained. That's when I went and ahead and FOIA requested the police radio communication, the audio file from the Lieutenant Jessica Turner, the dispatch supervisor at the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office. And that's when I found that the audio file from Lieutenant Turner was different than the audio that can be heard in the dash cam here. And not to mention, That audio file never mentions where the pursuit began. I'm pretty sure the officers are required to radio in where the pursuit began. You never heard anything about the 900 block of Washington over here. I mean, we'll play it forward a little bit here. Oops, too far. Not far enough.
Expires 2022. Status valid.
A minute 45 in, expires 2022. Status valid. All right.
Edward, Zebra, Tom, 001, Washington North, 6th Street.
1849.
725 Washington and North 4th Street.
10
725 Rally Train.
1854.
I don't know what the officer said and the dispatcher responded with there at the end, but that absolutely cannot be heard in this dash cam video. Let's back it up just a little bit.
Expires 2022. Status valid.
Washington and North 4th Street.
7.
That last comment by the officer and the dispatcher can't be heard in the dash cam.
Hello, how we doing? Good, how are you? Good. Hey, any reason why I stopped today? I do not know, honestly. Looking.
Strange. That officer was sitting right here where this automobile was. I went right through this green light without being stopped, and I got pulled over a mile down the road here on the 800 block of West Washington. I was not pulled over here, I was pulled over a mile down the road. And that's why the officer said he saw me the whole time. Well, because I was traveling here where the officer could see me the whole time. Okay, there's no way he could have saw me the whole time from behind this building. There's a building right over here. This is Batteries Plus. He can barely catch a glimpse of me coming through here. Let's take a look at it one more time. I just can't believe how long it takes for the audio to kick in on this video. I mean, this audio doesn't kick in until a minute 40 in. Should be radioing in his position right now. He should be radioing in, saying, hey, I'm in pursuit. Especially if his lights are on here. Holy cow. You can see the lights in my tail lights. It's because he took this image and pasted it into this video that he shot the next day. That's why.
Expires 2022. Status valid.
Okay, let's switch it over to the audio one more time. I'll let you listen to the audio one more time.
725 on driver. Edward Zebra Tom 001 Washington North 6th Street.
1849.
725 on Washington and North 4th Street.
Temper.
The first location we hear from the officer is North 6th in Washington. Shouldn't he have called in the beginning of the pursuit back on the 900 block?
Edward Zebra Tom 001 Washington North 6th Street.
Washington North 6th Street, he's calling in my license. Didn't he call in the beginning of his pursuit 3 blocks earlier from the 900 block?
1849.
725 on Washington and North 4th Street.
Temper.
725 on Raleigh Train.
1854.
That last little bit of radio communication cannot be heard in the dash cam. I wonder why. So that's where we sit here. I filed an officer complaint back on 7/5. I requested this radio communication from the sheriff's department on 7/11. I found out the radio communication is different than you can hear in the dash cam. Not to mention there is no mention of where the pursuit began, allegedly on the 900 block of Washington Street. And there is no mention that audio file should continue for another minute or two after what can be heard.
725 on driver. Edward Zebra Tom 001 Washington North 6th Street.
1849.
There's no way that officer.
725 on Washington and North 4th Street.
There's no way that officer could have got my license by the time I got to 6th Street. No way.
Temper.
725 on Raleigh Train.
1854.
Considering the officer and I didn't see each other until North 4th in Washington, there's no way you could have already had my license plate at 6th in Washington. There's no way. No mention of where that pursuit began, no mention of where it ended, nothing. All right. I filed an officer complaint, like I said, on the 5th of July. It came back in 2 days unsustained. Then I started sending emails to the dispatch supervisor at the Crow Wing County Sheriff, Lieutenant Jessica Turner. She has not yet responded. Okay. Lieutenant Turner also got a call from the Minnesota Department of Administration from the Data Practices Division, asking her if there was any police radio communication that was missing off that audio file. And she said she admitted to the state authority that it was strange that there was so little audio communication, and that she would look into it. Well, that was a couple weeks ago, and of course I haven't heard back. So we're gonna have to go talk to Lieutenant Turner about this audio file, because I believe there's at least a minute or two missing at the end of this audio file. We'll listen to the audio file one more time. Then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video.
725 archive. Edward Beaver Tom 001 Washington North 6th Street.
1849.
725 Lt Washington and North 4th Street.
Tampered.
725 Lt
1854.
There you have it. So no mention of where the pursuit allegedly began on the 900 block of Washington Street, and no mention of where it actually ended on the 800 block of West Washington. That is because I believe there is at least a minute or two missing from this audio file at the end of it. I believe this is the beginning of the police radio communication, and there's a minute or two missing from the end of it. Okay. And so that's what we got here. And if you notice the audio file and the dash cam, the audio file of the police radio communication and the police radio communication that can be heard in the dash cam do not match up. So if you guys go ahead and rewind and listen to that a few times, you'll notice that the audio file I got here from the sheriff does not match up with the audio that can be heard in the dash cam. So something funny definitely going on here. Just to let you guys know, I'll tell you what actually happened. Let's go back to the dash cam video here. The officer was here, made a left, followed me a mile and a half up the road that way, pulled me over a mile up the road that way.
I do not know, honestly. Looking down your phone, man.
101.32.
Yep, I drove right past me. You're looking down right at it.
Not to mention half of this conversation is missing. I mean, the officer accused me 3 or 4 times of holding my cell phone, and I kept denying it, and I said I wasn't holding it. I didn't have it in my hand. I simply hit the directions button for the one-touch navigation.
Looks like it's right there.
Right
Right next to
Edward
you.
Township, address is 10792 Lane, have a male present at person is unable to perform sentences correctly.
I was parked over at Batteries and Plus, and I saw you driving by the whole time.
I was parked at Batteries and Plus, and I saw you driving by the whole time, right through the building.
You still can't do it. You can't look down your phone, man. That's crap. On a safety hazard, someone stops right in front of you, you just climb right into the rear end of them. Someone runs down the middle of the road, that's safety hazard. I hope you understand why.
Yeah, when you're chasing me at 70 miles an hour through town, a kid could run out in front of you too. So that's enough of that. I don't feel like showing any more tampered with evidence here. But at any rate, recap. The citation was issued on 4/23, offense location 4th and Washington. All of a sudden, the police report, dash and body cams show that the citation was issued on 4/24, not 4/23, and the offense location was all of a sudden the 900 block of Washington Street, not 4th and Washington. And the audio file of the police radio communication does not match up with the police radio that can be heard in the dash cam. So far, pretty funny, huh? Okay. The officer complaint came back in 2 days unsustained. And so now I plan on going to confront the dispatch supervisor with the Crow County Sheriff regarding the audio file that has at least a minute or two missing off the end of it and doesn't match doesn't match the police radio communication that can be heard in the dash cam. Okay, so that's where I'm at with the case here. You know, go ahead. You know, I like what Bay Area Transparency says. Smash that like button. That helps get these videos out. It helps us out. Okay, go ahead and share, like, subscribe, comment. I'm pretty active in the comment section. I try to get back to all the comments. So go ahead and get involved with this. Like I said, my tech skills are less than ideal to be doing this, and I didn't record the actual stop, which is hurting me. So any encounters with law enforcement, I encourage you guys to make sure you record the encounter so that you don't have a 4.5-month headache afterwards like I have here. Okay, that's the update I have for you right now. I plan on going to talk to the Crow Wing County Sheriff here this week to ask her about the missing police radio communication off the audio file. There's got to be at least a minute or two missing off the end of that audio file. So we're going to go ahead and ask the dispatch supervisor, Lieutenant Jessica Turner, about that. She's already received a phone call from the Minnesota Department of Administration, the Public Data Division. I know that because the public official notified me that he contacted her, and Lieutenant Jessica Turner with the Crow Wing County Sheriff, the dispatch supervisor, said she would admitted that there was a small amount of police radio communication for a stop like this. There should have been more police radio communication, that she would look into it. Well, we haven't heard back from Lieutenant Jessica Turner from the Crow Wing County Sheriff yet, and so we're going to go ahead and pay her a visit here this week to ask her about this audio file that she sent me. And again, we'll listen to the audio file one more time. So nothing about the offense location over on the 900 block. He didn't say anything about beginning pursuit on the 900 block. The first location you hear is 6th in Washington, which is strange. And then he talks about LP at 4th in Washington. That last communication by the officer and the dispatcher cannot be heard in the dash cam video. And this audio file should continue for at least another minute or two down the road. The police radio communication should continue for another minute or two over a mile up the road here to the west. It's cut off. So that's where we sit. I'm still digging. Haven't given up on this yet. Unfortunately, well, I don't know. I'm still digging into it. You never know which way these are going to turn. You know, maybe the right person will see the right thing and have the right kind of skills, the right kind of knowledge to do something about this. I'm not an IA investigator. I'm sitting here holding this IA file, but I'm not an IA investigator. I'm not a professional investigator. I'm not even a First Amendment auditor, for crying out loud. All I did was started recording on June 22nd when I found out some funny business has been going on since April 23rd. That's all I did. My channel's only been live since June 22nd. It's only been on for 10 weeks or so. So, and I already got over 95,000 views and nearly 800 subscribers. I am absolutely blown away at the amount of support I've gotten here. Some of you don't believe me. Some of you believe that I was actually observed on the 900 block here and pulled over at 4th and Washington. Some of you do believe me, but of course I don't have the stop recorded. My Google Maps timeline was, location services were not turned on. I couldn't get any of the surveillance footage from any of the businesses over there on West Washington. I couldn't get the stoplight camera footage. I just kept striking out when I tried to prove that I was pulled over down there on the 800 block of West Washington. I have absolutely no proof that I was pulled over down there. That's the problem. I wasn't recording the stop. So, long story short, record all of your interactions with public officials. And with that, I am going to wrap this video up. This is Law Abiding Minnesotan with North Central Minnesota Press, out.